Good afternoon, retail. I always love having the session just after lunch. That way I won't get heckled because everybody will be asleep. So we're going to try our best to keep you awake. Everybody have a good lunch? The food at this place is amazing. You heard a lot from Chef Tomas this morning. It is truly, if you ever get a chance, it is unbelievable. And one of the things that I loved about this hotel was when they took us back and down into the guts of the kitchen and just saw where all the stuff happened. It was amazing, but what was really impressive is we were going around and they were saying, well, he's been here 30 years. The lady that folds their croissants 500 times every morning. She's been here 35 years, folding dough. I've been in the window business for 24 years, and I've been folding dough, different kind of dough. See, look, your jokes don't even work after lunch. That's been killing in the dry runs for the last 2 weeks. So, well, welcome back. You've got another hour and a half of me this morning or this afternoon, and then we'll break you into some fun stuff. But we're going to transition into the second step of the process. Now, just to tell you a little personal story, this is my favorite step. As most of you know, I'm a profiler, so getting into the head of a customer and figuring out what makes them tick is that's my thing. It's what I've done most of my career, it's what I've studied, it's what I'm passionate about. So the discovery step is really my step. So when I was asking the gentleman up here earlier, what was your favorite step? Mine would be discovery. Anybody else out there think discovery step's kind of your favorite step? Okay, so a few of you. I think this is just a really good step. I also believe the discovery step is kind of the foundation of what you build upon, everything else. So we're going to kind of go into, I want to do a little activity, get your blood pumping, get your juices flowing a little bit. As we come back from lunch, we're going to burn a few calories. And so what I'd like for you to do is get your crayon. Oh, but before we do that, there is one addition to your table that was not there before lunch. If you'll look in the cup, you will see a plastic version of the selling process. We had these made for you so that you could put them in your wallet and they would be a daily reminder of the process. So this way you will always have the process with you. If for any reason you do not have one, I have extras. Billy, I'll make sure you have, because I know you need the process, so I will get you a couple extra copies. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Now that you've got your crayon, there will be a couple $500 Amazon gift cards coming out. Here's what I would like for you to do. Because there's prizes, I would like for you to make sure you write your own answer down and that you don't let anyone else see your answer. All right? So here's what I want you to do. I would like for you to complete the phrase on the screen. I'd like for you to complete the phrase on the screen. So just write it down, write it down. All right, so everybody has it? Everybody's got it written down? Here's what I'd like for you to do. On the count of three, now this will be 1, 2, 3, speak. On the count of three, I'd like for you to yell out your answer, okay? 1, 2, 3. Jump to conclusions, and that would be absolutely incorrect. You all just failed the discovery step of the process. But that's exactly what happens to us, right? We're in the house. We're on our second or third appointment of the day. We start hearing a couple things that the customer's telling us. We're getting a little picture in our mind. and we just jump. We hear just enough to leap into our presentation. That's one of the biggest things I see as I ride around with reps and I've ridden with people and I do training, is I notice that salespeople love to talk so much that we cannot wait until the opportunity to present itself. And then a lot of times what happens in the discovery step is we jump to conclusions. You sort of heard that in some of the customers. So what we're going to talk about today is how to avoid this tendency. Now, I would love to tell you that we're just going to fix it, but that would be impossible. This is something that, and I've been a salesperson, I've been selling windows since October 11, 1991. I sold my very first window to Mr. and Mrs. R.P. Ruth, Random, North Carolina, October 11, 1991, for $8,968. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I still have to have little voices in my head telling me not to jump to a conclusion. So I don't know that I'm going to offer you a cure. Hopefully we're just going to draw attention to this, become self-aware, and then maybe together, collective, the power of 500 retail reps, we will find a way to combat this tendency and to do a better discovery, because it will help us. It will help us make more money, it'll help us sell more, and it'll help us satisfy more customers. So let's talk a little bit about the discovery step and how it's written. There's a couple things I want to offer to you that makes this step really work. The first one is purposeful questions. The discovery step is when you're a detective. And even though the conversation should seem random, it really should not be random. It should be very much on purpose. The second thing that you have to do in discovery, probably the most difficult, I will tell you, is active listening. The other day, I have a 4-year-old named Tessa. And when she comes home from daycare, the one thing she likes to do is talk. And she likes to talk about everything. And she goes all over the place. So I have to hear about the princesses, and then I have to hear what she had for lunch. And then I hear what she did on the playground, and then I hear more about the princesses. And I looked at my little daughter the other day, and I was like, could you just give me 3 minutes where you don't talk? And my wife looked over at me and she goes, well, you know where she gets that. So one of the things I will tell you as salespeople, we like to talk. And sometimes that gets in the way of listening. So active listening is when you turn these on and this off. There's plenty of time for this. And then the third thing that has to happen in the discovery step is you must set an agenda. Have you ever gone to the car to get your window, or you tell the customer, I'm going to go to the car and get the window and we'll come back, and the customer says, oh no, I don't need to see anything. Anybody ever had, show of hands, anybody ever had a customer say that? I'm going to go out to the car and get the heat lamp. Oh no, I don't need to see that. If you've ever had a customer tell you that, or you get ready to say, well, let me get my computer out and I'll get you a quote, and the customer says, oh no, you can just email that to me. Anybody? Anybody ever had that one? Well, I'm going to walk around and measure. Oh no, they're all the same size. You can measure that one. Anybody? Anybody ever had that one? How about this one? I need to measure. Oh no, I measured for you. One of the things that you have to do in setting the agenda is it gives you permission to do all of those things. And what I will tell you, and I won't go deep down into it, but if you do the studies, when a customer agrees to give you something, they have an actual psychological pull to not go against their word. So when in the agenda you get permission to do things, it prevents the customer from being able to tell you they don't want you to do those things later. So it's a very, very, very powerful and important part of this step. So we're going to walk through each of these and spend a little time with them and we're going to go a little deeper. So the first one is discovering the why. How many people ever read the book Simon Sinek, Start With Why? If you have not read that book, I highly recommend it. It is a fantastic book that talks about getting to the heart of why people do what they do, which is really where the value lies. And in purposeful questions, it really is powerful to understand a few things. First of all, what could they be doing? So here's what I'd like for you to do right now. I'd like for everybody to get their phone out, look at their phone. I'd like for you to open up your calendar. I am going to come to your house next Tuesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Next Tuesday night from 6 to 8 p.m., I will be at your home. I don't care what day it is. I work on Valentine's Day. I will be your Valentine. Here's what I want you to do. What in your life is going to have to change in order for that to happen? And I want you to write those down. What would you have to change right now in your life, in your routine, in your schedule to allow me to come into your house next Tuesday night from 6 to 8? All right, you've had a little bit of time. We don't have the mics running around, don't need them. Someone yell out something you're going to have to change, anything. Dinner. Clean the house. Oh, that's a big. Clean the house.
I'd have to be there.
You'd have to be there. Feed the kids early. You're going to have to change when you feed your kids. You'd have to reschedule an already existing appointment. It's Valentine's Day. Okay, so you'd have to change your dinner plans. I can take your wife to dinner. My point is, you all had to look at doing something. There were very few of you that just had a completely open schedule. And some of you, even though you were at home, how difficult, okay, because I have a 4-year-old and a 16-month-old. At 6 o'clock, do you have any idea what my life is like? I sit on the couch and watch my wife run around like a crazy person. And it's distracting. If I had to move that to 5 o'clock, first of all, I'd have to leave work early, because you'd have to get to daycare early. I'd love to leave them at daycare, but they charge you just a lot when you're late. So just in feeding the kids, and I'm going to tell you, if my little one, if he doesn't eat at 6 o'clock, there is no one happy in our house. So you want to show up at my house at 6, there's a lot of drama that I have to deal with. And I want to make this point because when you show up at a customer's house, it is not by accident. Do you realize that every single one of your customers is just as busy as you are, have just as many things in their daily routine? Their schedules are just as full. Their kids have to eat at the same time. So when you show up at a house, it is because that customer wanted you there. They have altered their life for you. And I hate to tell you this, but ever since Al Gore got that internet thing working, we have not had tire kickers. We haven't had the lonely people that just want somebody to come by and talk to them. If somebody has you in their house today, it is because something in their life is broken and they need it fixed. And they altered their schedule. They fed their kids earlier. They skipped the gym. They went out to eat instead of fixing their meal at home. They left work early so they could see you. And my question is, why? And that's what discovery is all about. Why? The second thing is, what is their vision? Again, for them to alter their routine and their schedule to see you something in their mind. They did not just at lunch go, let's call Pella. We have a free night. Have them out. So because they made an adjustment to their life to see you, they've been thinking about what they're doing. And if they've been thinking about changing their windows, they've been envisioning what that change will be. Now that envision could be style. It could be a change in comfort. It may be a change in the way they have to do maintenance. So not sure what it is, but trust me, their mind's eye has seen this through to its completion before you ever walk in the door. So in the discovery step, it is just so important that you find out what that vision is. And the cool thing there is once you find the vision, what do you have to do? Just match it. It's a done deal. Find the vision. And the last one, and I love this, Bruce Wolf. Where's Bruce? Where's Bruce? Bruce in the house. Bruce. Went on a ride along with Bruce. Love Bruce. It's the first time I'd heard this phrase, and I fell in love with it immediately because it was just so effective. And he walked in, and again, he's up in a place where everybody's super busy. And he walks in, he's talking to the Discovery, and he sits down. They had a good rapport building. He just looked at him. He says, okay, your time's valuable, my time's valuable. You've been thinking about this for a while. Let me ask you, why am I here? And I thought, that's the most direct question, and this will be interesting to see how this plays out. And the next probably 3 minutes, the customer just gave us everything. And I thought, it cannot be that easy. But he had a good rapport, and it was just a powerful statement. Sometimes the most simplest statement is the best. Simplest question, why am I here? Have anybody ever been to a house where the door is literally falling off of the hinge? I went to a house one time in North Carolina, and I go out, and there's a back deck overlooking the lake. It was in Lake Norman. And the back patio door is covered in duct tape and black garbage bags. Now, this is probably a $500,000, $600,000 house, and it was a disaster. And I'm looking at the guy, and he sets the appointment, and I asked him, I pulled a Bruce Wolf, I said, why am I here? And he goes, I need this door fixed. And I said, yeah, did that just happen? He goes, oh no, it's been that way. Anybody ever been to one of those houses that you're like, oh yeah, that's, so my thing, why now? Why this moment in time? What stars lined up to where I ended up being here? And I asked the guy that, not in that way, but I simply said, obviously this didn't just happen. And obviously you've been aware of it, or somebody came by while you were asleep and put garbage bags around your door. Why am I out here now? And he just looked at me and said, simple, my daughter's getting married and the reception's out here in the backyard and I can't have my guests looking at this. What he had was a problem. Why he wanted it was so his daughter could have the reception that she dreamed about. The what had existed, I don't know how long that door had been there. It was shot for years. So the what has no urgency. The what has no motivation. The what is just the problem. The why is the pain. The why is the value. And I guarantee you, if his daughter wasn't getting married, I would have never been sitting at that house, and that door would still, if it was still on hinges, would still be covered in duct tape and trash bags. Because it wasn't important for him to fix the door until the door being fixed was important to his daughter. So it is a great question. Why are you there? Why this moment in time? Why Tuesday, 6 o'clock, with all you could be doing? Why are you talking to me? And understand that there is some value in that. Get beneath the surface, because that's where the gold really lies. And then active listening. Now, I'm going to start off active listening with one thing. Where's Chad Chimiak? All right, I told you I was going to pick on you. I'm going to start a story, and then I'm going to let Chad finish it. I told you guys earlier that I was a vinyl guy, so I sold my first window. I didn't sell a wood window until I came to Pella. Didn't really know how to sell a wood window. I struggled with wood. Chad helped me, taught me how to sell wood, taught me how to make it valuable. But I was a vinyl guy, so I sold my first vinyl window for $1,000 in 1993. $1,000. No low E, no argon. It tilted. It was great. $1,000 a window back then. It was good times. So when Pella in 2008 got vinyl, I was kind of the guy that everybody looked to how do you pitch this? Because it was opposite, right? It's like how do you sell that? We've been selling against it. Anybody remember those? 2008 was a fun year, wasn't it? Because we were having to learn a whole new skill. So one day I get a call, and I wasn't supposed to ride with Chad, but I had the opportunity, and Chad called me and he said, "Hey, I've got a perfect house in a perfect neighborhood. Come with me, and I want you to pitch vinyl. Because this is a vinyl house." Jump into conclusions here, right? Have you guys started to hear this in the story? Perfect vinyl house, perfect vinyl neighborhood. I want you to come with me, and that way we can show this customer vinyl. So we get to the house. I grab the vinyl window, and off we go to meet the customer. Chad, would you mind finishing the story?
So we walk into this house, and we're completely forgetting about this other stuff. You go in and assuming, I go in assuming we're going to be pitching vinyl. I think we go in there for probably 10 minutes, and we're discussing all about this vinyl window. And you can tell real quick she wasn't too interested in it. We just kept going on about it. Next thing you know, she speaks up and says, "Those windows have lines on them?" And we're like, we just completely missed it. Well, come to find out, she wanted blinds because she had allergy problems. Her main focus was she called us because she wanted blinds. Now, every other house in that neighborhood that I sold had always been vinyl. So I had to prejudge it, like he's talking about before I walked in. I called on the vinyl pitch man to do it, and we just completely missed the boat. So you got to make sure you're definitely asking the right questions. Do not take for granted this discovery step. We completely missed the boat on it.
Of course we did. Of course we did. We're not that bad. Chad and I together, actually, we're a pretty good team. I carry the window, he does the work, I carry the window back out. It was great. He was the most fun person to ride with because I just carry the window. But it was interesting. Her daughter had some extreme allergies, and one of the things her daughter was allergic to was dust. Again, what she had was a problem we saw, which was bad wooden windows. The why problem for her was her daughter's health. And she ended up buying a whole house full of designer series. So you never know. And what I will tell you is why that, to Ken's point earlier of the fun stories we tell always have good endings when you sell it, we followed the process because even though we butchered step 1 and 2, we did active listen enough to hear allergies and blinds to go back out to the car and actually get a designer series window and pitch it. So we salvaged it through the process, but we jumped to conclusions. How many people in here have ever gone to a lead, an opportunity, and knew within the first 5 minutes what you were going to sell, and yet walked out with a totally different deal? Show of hands. So we've all jumped to conclusions, but we've all fixed it. We've come back from it. A lot of this takes place in active listening, and active listening is the biggest key, and I want to give kudos to Gina Della from Pella, because she gave me this. I've always said listen to talk. A lot of salespeople listen to talk, and one thing Gina says, she goes, no, you need to listen to learn, and I thought that is a very powerful statement, so I actually want to give her credit for this. But we do. We need to listen to learn what the customer is saying to us. What is that customer conveying? Her daughter was sick, and our windows were part of a solution. we listen to learn. Be mindful of the moment. A great Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn, once told Obi-Wan, his Padawan learner, that even though the Force shows you the future, that you need to be mindful of the moment. And I think about that as a sales rep. How many people have ever run 3 appointments in a day? How many people have ever run 100 appointments in a year? 200 appointments in a year? 300 appointments in a year? How many people have ever run 1,000 appointments in their career? 2,000, 3,000. The fact is, after a while, well, they all look the same to a sales rep. Customer says something, and all of a sudden your brain says, well, the last 50 people that said that did this. What I will tell you is be mindful of the moment. Don't let yourself drift. Don't think about the 27 window appointment this afternoon when you're on a 2 window appointment this morning. Don't think about the 30 window job you sold last night when you're on the storm door appointment at lunchtime today. Don't think about the 10th appointment you ran this week when you're on the 8th appointment. Don't think about the ones that you ran last week. It's very easy, because of the amount of experience we have, for us to drift in the home. And it happens a lot in the discovery because we start connecting dots. We make assumptions. And so what I will challenge you with, just like Obi-Wan had to learn, be mindful of the moment. That customer has a problem. They have a sick daughter. They have a daughter getting married. They have something down deep. And that's why you're there. Be mindful of that. Every customer deserves that attention. Listen for hot buttons. One of the things you've got to do when you're in discovery is listen for people to tell you why you're there. Those little things, I wish it did this, or I wish it did that. Do you have blinds? That was one of the hot buttons. The minute she said that, you could just see the wheels turning. Chad's like, uh-oh, we've got the wrong window. So we heard it, it was a hot button, and we went forward. And then last, take all of this into an understanding of who this customer is, who they are, what are their dreams and desires. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video, and just like we've been doing, take your piece of paper, your crayon, and I'd like for you to write down what you think was good and bad about this video we're about to watch. So we've got a video, we're going to watch it. It's got some good and some bad, and we're going to pick it apart a little bit.
Well, this is a nice place you got, Mr. Miller. I see you got a pretty nice entertainment system here, too.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time down here with the kids, watching TV and stuff.
Okay. Well,
Football
good.
on the weekends.
Well, very good. What kind of problems are you having with the windows?
Well, they're older windows, starting to see some rot in a few places.
Yeah.
One of the things is I love the view, love looking out there, absolutely love it.
You got a great view, real nice view.
Thank you. One of the things is, I guess, during the day and the afternoons when we're trying to watch football, the boys and I, we get some glare off of the sun and stuff. So
yeah,
probably got to buy some type of blinds or curtains or something for them. And then
that view, I don't even know if I want to put curtains or blinds up. Gosh.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah, you got a lot of windows in here. I don't even know if it'd be tough to reduce the glare. You got a lot of windows in here, which is nice, with the view that you have and everything. I mean,
sure.
You'd want a lot of windows,
Well, and then also too, they're nice to be able to crank out, but I'd like to get a window that I could put, a screen on, probably something on the outside, a screen on the outside. So instead of on the inside, I don't know if that's possible or not, but with what you guys have, but with the younger kids up here, I don't want them pushing on the screens and weakening them and stuff.
Yeah. I guess it all depends what you want at the end of the day. So, okay. Well, very good. Well, I'll measure up the windows, and I've got a sample I'll bring and show to you, and we'll we'll walk through it from there.
Oh, okay, great.
Active listening, right? Not. Now, to Ken's defense, Ken is a genius. If you've ever ridden with Ken or been a chance to see Ken in the house, he is a master of the discovery. It took us like 10 tries to videotape a bad one of him where he was really struggling. But what did you see? What were some of the things that you noticed? Just yell them out. Yep. How'd you like when the customer just paused to look at Ken staring off? I don't know what Ken was looking at. Was he taking any notes? No? Well, there's some hot buttons. Was the customer giving us some stuff? The customer, do you think that customer's had an estimate or been on Google or something? He was throwing out some window jargon.
Provide some doubt to the customer's vision.
Yep. When he said, I really liked the view, but we enjoy, what did they do in that room? They watched TV with who? The kids. Did you notice the room? That beautiful golden oak. That's my basement, by the way. My wife absolutely hates golden oak. But you see the kitchen in the background, right? That room is all kids. So his vision was to keep watching TV with his children. And what did our rep do? I don't think I'd want to cover that view. Well, there's that view. My vision's shot. But here's the question that I would ask each of you. If I videotaped every single one of your discovery steps, would I see these? Any of these? 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10? Is this isolated? Is this make-believe? Is this just Hollywood? Or is this truly based on a true story that happens every single day, somewhere in this room? And trust me, if you videotaped all of mine, you would have some of these very ones. Because I can't tell you that I do a great discovery every single time. I'd love to tell you that I did, but I'd lie to you. The fact is, being completely transparent and vulnerable, I have days where I'm not on. That's what good managers are for. That's what good peers are for. To recognize that and help us. The fact is, when we do a bad discovery, things just happen to get worse and worse as we go through. So you just need to be aware of your discovery. It does matter, and we need to make sure we're actively listening. The agenda. I love an agenda. The agenda is extremely powerful. How many people use the agenda on the Pella Presenter? If you've got the new Pella Presenter, which you will see this afternoon or tomorrow after, depending on where that session lands for you in your schedule, the new Pella Presenter is fantastic. And it's going to make the agenda even easier to get to. If you're not using the agenda, and I saw a lot of hands not going up, I'm going to take that from arm fatigue and not the fact that you're not doing it. But if you're not doing an agenda, you need to learn. Get with somebody that's doing it. Get with your manager. It is a powerful, powerful, powerful step in the discovery. What is step 1? And you can read this one. All together now? There we go. We're in sync. I got you. Number 2? Inspect the current windows. 3? Measure your windows. 4? Show samples. Now, anybody want to take a gander at what 5 is? There's a few I heard out there. You might want to get your Pella Presenter out tomorrow and just make sure you know these steps. Anybody want to tell me what the last one is? Answer all your questions. So one of the things about the agenda, as I was telling you, there's actually a psychological thing that comes on called cognitive dissonance. Now I want to get deep into that because that word has too many syllables from the stage. But what it means is that you cannot maintain 2 opposing thoughts. Unless you're a politician. Then you can have as many opposing thoughts as you want. But what it means is if I tell you yes now and I tell you no later to the same thing, I have 2 opposing thoughts. That will actually create a sense of pain. Hairs on the back of your neck stand up because you know that you are contradicting yourself. So what the agenda does early in the steps is it gets the customer to agree to allow you to do everything so that if later they start feeling the pressure and want you to not do something because they think, oh no, if he shows me that window, I'm going to love it and then we're going to buy. We did that. We went to Costco to look at the Dyson vacuum cleaner. And it's just like, you're not going over and looking at that thing, because if you go over there and look at that thing, if you suck those Fruit Loops up off that floor, we're going to buy a Dyson. You know what we have hanging on the wall right outside the garage door? It's fantastic. It's a Dyson, and it will suck a Fruit Loop right off the carpet. But I know, so sometimes customers know they're going to buy from you, so they get tricky, and they're like, oh, I don't need to see a window. Well, if you've done the agenda properly, they can't do that, because they would have two opposing thoughts, because what would they have already agreed to earlier? What's number 4? Show samples. So once they've agreed to allow you to show samples, they can't tell you later that they don't want to see samples. This is the power of agenda, and it's one of the reasons it's a very crucial part of the discovery process. It gets you permission, establishes you the ability to do your dance. Now, as we transition, I want to talk a little bit. You heard this morning at the general session that we're doing a lot of stuff for the Pella brand. And one of the things that we have discovered in talking to our customers is that for most people, Pella is seen as a bigger entity in the industry than everyone else. How many people in here would agree that from quality, innovation, service, that most people would say Pella is bigger, is larger, is a step above the rest of the industry? How many people? This is a good point for every hand to go up. Your boss is watching. Boss, hands up. Thank you. Pella, if we talk to those customers that you heard, they all said they came to Pella because of our quality, because they felt, what did the one lady say? She said, I knew it was going to be expensive, but I knew it was going to be good. This is the way we are perceived. This is the way people see us. This is why, when they come to us, they're not looking for basic. They know that we're going to offer something special. So this next statistic may shock you. You may want to write this down, just so it burns into your memory. Even though every hand in here went up that we are better than the competition, we are better than the industry, even though we know that our customers say we're better than the competition and that we are better than the industry, last year in 2016, 40% of all retail orders were sold at the most basic product level we offer. Now, take your crayon and I want you to think for just a minute about your automobile. How many people in here have a car? Okay, most of you. Some of you walk your samples around. Or if you're in Portland, you just take the local transportation that's provided for by the city, unless it's being stopped. So here's what I want you to do. If you have leather seats, I want you to write the word leather. How many people have a GPS system built into the dash, right? GPS system. How many people have heated seats? If you live in the Midwest, you learn that you cannot live without heated. How many people have Midwest remote start? Right? Remote start. I have heated grips on my snowblower. How many people have 18-inch rims on their vehicle? It looks awesome on my minivan. Think of all the extras. How many people have the bigger motor, faster motor? He's not in this, but if you have a truck that has shiatsu massage in it, you need to write, I can't spell it, but you need to write that down, because I believe we do have someone that actually has a truck that's one of the options you can get in the seats. Here's my point. Oh, here's another one. How many of your windows go up and down with a button? Does anybody remember these? I grew up, this is if you wanted your window down. I was doing that in a meeting the other day, and I'm like, cars used to do this. And I'm looking out, and no one knows what I'm doing. They thought maybe I had a tick or something, you know? And I'm doing this, and finally one gal, she says, "What are you doing? What is that?" And I instantly just felt old. Car windows, when you used to want them to go down, how would you get them to go down? You would roll them down. That's the action, rolling it down. That's how we used to make ice cream too. Anybody remember those days? Yeah. Here's my point. Everything you just wrote down is available at a lesser option. Every single person, show of hands, wrote leather. Do you know that vehicle is made in cloth? So why didn't you get cloth? How many people have the GPS? Here's a cool one. How many people have the GPS but still navigate with your phone? $1,200 for the dash GPS? Still look at my phone. How many people have the heated seats? Yeah, you know, you'll warm up in just a few minutes. It's just a minor inconvenience. Power windows, believe it or not, every car, well, not the ones you see out in front of this place, most of the cars that like I would drive, you can order them with rolling down windows. How many people have backup cameras? Okay, give you a trick, save you about $600. Everybody do this, just so we get in the motion. Everybody stick like you're driving. All right, we'll save you $600 right now. Now do this. See, you didn't know you were going to save money today. I just saved you $600. We've been going in reverse for years. Now all of a sudden every car's got to have a camera. My point is, you are customers, and you're no different from the customers we see. You bought a car, and without really thinking about it, you upgraded that car. So my question is, if customers come to Pella because they want more, why are 40% of our orders at the most basic stripped down model we carry? Because I will tell you, I don't think that's the customer's intention. We're going to walk through a couple other things. These are things you've got to think about when you were in the discovery step. First of all, it's their front runner. One of the reasons I believe, and this is my opinion, so please do not take this anything other than the fact that I have on a mic, my opinion matters. I believe a lot of the 40% is we sell what we think we can sell versus selling what the customer wants to buy. Now that's just my opinion. If you want to agree with my opinion, we can go to work and fix it. But I believe there are times where we choose what we are going to sell because of what we think we can sell versus what the customer wants to buy. Second, we need to think about add-ons and upgrades. We have 8 octillion SKUs. There are things we can add to our windows that people like, that they enjoy, that they want. We need to be able to offer those things to our customers. And here's the other thing. If you're concerned about price, we all are. I've been doing this for 26 years, and I still get that little, I know my pupils dilate if we could watch them when I get ready to turn a price over. I know that we all do, okay? But here's the thing. If it's their window, it's their price, not yours. But if it's your window, then you are selling your price, and that is a problem. Because there may not be value in your window, but there will be value in their window. So it's just a change. It's a way to look at things a little differently. When we talk about the front runner, it is important that we narrow the funnel. You heard Jason, and I thought he was so eloquent when he said that the process helps him narrow things down so he doesn't overwhelm customers. It is important that when you're listening for those hot buttons, you're narrowing that funnel, but it's very important that you get yourself out of the picture. I was with a rep not too long ago, had 3 doors, and he actually showed me the price before he presented it. It was one of those. It was 3 doors, like $19,900. Now, of course, we presented it. We didn't sell it. We're in the car, and he looked at me. He says, "Can you believe that? I would never spend $19,000 on doors." I'm like, "Neither will your customer." Which is why we didn't sell $19,000 worth of doors. Here's the tick. It ain't your decision. It's not your money. It's your money you just lost, but it's not your $19,000. I own a $1,400 ink pen, and I don't lose a second of sleep about it. Now, you all look at me like I'm nuts. But it's mine. My decision, my value, my front runner. So get out of their way. We just talked about your automobiles. I guarantee you, I've got a souped up vacuum cleaner at my house. I upgrade everything. I also have 2 of everything. Because if I can't upgrade it, I just buy another one. How many people in here upgrade? You upgrade. Yeah. How many people got upgraded here when you checked into the hotel? I didn't. Felt good. You like that, right? You like getting upgraded. So do our customers. You want to know why? Because they tell us. Take a listen.
I mean, I had sort of a 3-year or a 5-year plan. Like, well, we'll do, 37 windows. We'll do 5 a year and do it that way. But he wanted it to all happen now. And so time became the metric that worked in my favor because the price sort of came down if it all happened now versus spreading it out over 5 years. And then another pivot point was paying for it all at once versus kind of doing it in installments. I can't remember what percent was the savings, but so there were a couple of ways that the price sort of came down a little bit and then it came down a little bit more. And then when I paused, there was nothing. So I figured, okay, well, we get the end. That's as cheap as it's going to get, so I'll sign.
We thought this is a really good price. Too good to be true. And, and we realized,
Okay.
yes, the window he quoted wasn't the same as the previous new windows, and we wanted, obviously, them all to look the same. Mm-hmm. So he thought we wanted one set, but in fact we wanted something else.
We have several windows that are, the seal's already broken, so he was very good in sort of giving us not only the French doors, but kind of talking about the windows, and even brought in a window so we could see what it looked like. So he was going for the whole picture, which was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing we made a mistake. We should have had them all pre-finished. We made a mistake by having them, install them, then we have a painter come and finish them, because the job is not the same as what if they were done before in the factory.
So did you knew that was an option?
Yes, we knew it was an option, but
Could we
then
have sold that better
we just-
to you or emphasized
we
that
just
better
said,
in some manner?
too expensive, we can do them cheaper by having a painter come, but that was a mistake.
I agree. Second
It
that.
it would have been worth paying
Smell,
little
smell,
extra push
Yeah.
to that. It's worth it.
I would agree because, we nearly killed ourselves leaning out the window and trying to paint underneath and it wasn't done as soon as, we thought we'd be able to get it done quite quickly, but, months went by before they were finished and that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So I really would agree that if they kind of,
I think you
I
should
don't
just
like
not make that an
salesmen,
option.
because I think they want money.
Just
Right.
do it.
That's
But
the
that
Tell
fear.
them
Yep.
that way.
You should just not make that an option. What did you hear? Were there some upgrades in there? I love the first lady. You want to think about the fact that when you show up at a house, they've already planned, they have a vision. Did you hear what she said? We had a plan where we were going to do 3 to 5 windows a year for 5 years. That's before the rep ever even got to the house. This is how far along a lot of our customers are. But because the rep priced them all, did the entire dance, First call closed 37 windows. And in Boston, what's that, like 80 grand? 90 grand? You heard the other lady says, well, not only did she talk to us about the French doors, which is what the appointment was for, but she noticed that several of our windows, the seal had gone bad. So she brought in and pitched a window as well. Then you have 3 customers arguing about not being sold pre-finish. Miss Jones, you know we can paint those for you. It is an extra cost, but you can easily paint them yourself or have someone come in and do it. Which way would you rather go? These customers want you to sell them options. 2 of those customers, and we didn't have it in the tape, but if you listen, there's about 24 hours of that stuff too. I've listened to every second of all 24 hours of those to cut those down. But one of the things, the guy said, my first set of windows I did not pre-finish. I saved the money. The second set, I had them pre-finished because I would not make that mistake again. Not pre-finishing, not spending the money, not upgrading, he saw as a mistake. How many of the 40% of the windows did we sell last year our customers thinking was a mistake because they didn't upgrade their hardware or get the screen that they really want or paint it so that they're not hanging out of a 2-story window risking life and limb to paint the bottom of the window so that they get their warranty? Fact is, if you don't sell these upgrades with the vigor they deserve, you're cheapening it for your customer. I'm going to start getting preachy here, but the fact is, our customers want more from us than a lot of times we're giving them. And the discovery step is when you should hear those things to say, oh, they probably need pre-finish. If you're in the second story of a condo, how are you going to paint the bottom of a Proline window? And if you're 70, my point is you wouldn't buy an automobile the way we try to sell a window. Look at your upgrades. Look at it. Measure the whole house. Boston, where are you? Give me a hand. You know what? Kudos. 3 windows turned into 37 because one of you guys did it right. That's awesome. How many people in here have ever gone to a house for 1 window and sold more than 1 window? Stand up. Everybody stand up right now. If you've ever sold more than you thought you were going to sell, stand up.
You probably want to get through the
Yeah, I'll get through. Got it. All right, here's this. What one person can do, so can another. Remember? Say it. And here's a new one for you. What I've done before, I can do again. What I've done before, I can do again. Thank you. Sit down. If you've ever sold more windows than the lead sheet told you you could sell, you can do it again. The largest window price I ever sold was $98,000. $98,000 is the largest order I ever sold personally. Bob Evans was the customer, Dr. Bob. Never met him. His wife's name was Shirley. The lead, 1 window. I tried to convince her that the grill pattern that she wanted in her new kitchen window was not going to match the rest of the house and that she needed to change her vision. I'm sorry, you need to change your vision. And she said, why? Can't I just change the rest of the windows? And I said, why didn't I think of that? That was a little active listening. So I said, we can do that. $98,000 later, off of a 1 window. What you've done before, you can do again. You just have to put effort behind it. Your salespeople, we need to sell. If it's their window, it's their price. When they choose to upgrade their hardware, that's a little dollar sign, but that's their dollar sign. They love it, they cuddle it, they hold it and protect it. When it's their upgraded hardware color, when it's their upgraded screen, when it's their 10 windows instead of 1, when it's their decisions, when that price rolls around, it is their price. Not your price, not the neighbor's price, not the guy last night, not the guy tomorrow. It is their price. And you know what they will have a hard time saying? That their price is too high. Your price will always be too high. Their price will never be too high. And if it is, you know what you say to them? What do you want to take off? Which is the takeaway close, which is fantastic. Little dollar signs that are theirs turn into a big dollar sign that is theirs, and when it is theirs, they don't have a problem with it. You didn't have a problem with your car once it was yours, once it had your stuff on it. If it's their window, it's their price. When you think about the industry, most of the people we compete are driving a square peg into a round hole. We get to go in and build a dream, satisfy a vision, and truly give a customer an experience that is theirs along with a product. Everybody you compete with is shaving pieces of that customer's dream away. So why are we selling equal to them? Why are we lowering our product line to be equal to the competition when our customers truly want and deserve an elevated experience and an elevated product offering? The discovery step is when this happens. Now, we're going to go through a few things. I've got about 6 more slides of product I want to talk to you about, but these are 2016 product additions. How many people have sold anything on this list? Now, what did you sell in 2015? So this is incremental. Now, what's really great is there's more. How many people have heard of Architect Series Reserve? Well, I'm going to tell you something. You guys, when you have a break, you need to get the Glimmer 5. Look at it on the app on the map, and you need to check this product out. It is fantastic. When you look at it, it has elevated our wood brand position beyond anything I ever thought. Remember, I grew up selling plastic. This window is pure, it's just beauty. It's historically accurate, so for the Northeast, you guys should be hugging somebody. If you live in the Northeast, you really should find somebody in the product team and hug them. Because this has got a lot of the premium aesthetics and meets the historical requirements for a lot of your areas. A lot of the features are also functional. You've got exterior putty glaze, the through style construction, the flush sash slugs that actually move to allow the window to tilt, the butt joinery, equal proportion sight lines. There is not a single aspect of this window that hasn't been just pined over for its accuracy and for its beauty. It's got the OG and putty profiling, the wood exterior shapes, traditional hardware. The hardware is gorgeous. All the modern functions, but with a style and look that gives the customer what they want, and the upgraded screen options. Factory applied, so again, you've got a window that looks an age, but has all of the modern accommodations that are needed for code. Extruded, screen, sound transmittance glass, and again, those sash lugs, which I think are just really cool the way they work. We also have the Architect Series Contemporary. This will be my next Dyson purchase, right? This will be my next vacuum cleaner. My wife and I have already looked at it, and yes, this window will probably be in our house very soon. And I'll tell you why. It's sleek, it's minimalist, not that we are, but we like our windows to be. Very modern looking, it's just gorgeous. The real thing is this black interior stain is sexy. It is beautiful. It's not a paint. You see the grain. It is a beautiful, beautiful feature. Make sure, again, Glimmer 5, go up there and check these products out. Now that you have more options, we even now have hardware that's available across all. And we've really changed and elevated the hardware to be more of a jewelry style. Again, just really beautiful, crisp lines. It is a Baldwin exclusive. We did have an internal person design this, so it's not off the shelf. These are one-offs that Pella has. And the smart key technology where everybody can rekey their windows. When you think about this, you have the Essential collection of hardware. You're going to have the Classic collection, the Modern collection. This is, if you see these are gorgeous. And then, of course, you have the Rustic collection. Beautiful, beautiful, really. But again, if 40% of our products are sold at the basic level, then the customer doesn't know any of this stuff exists. And why should the customer not know that this exists? This is gorgeous. Look at that casement handle on that black stain. Anybody got a customer in mind that might be a little excited about this? There's a few out there. Don't keep this stuff a secret.